Hello everyone, welcome to a new video where we see the 3-foot 6-inch gauge trains of Townsville from the trip I had to there. I'm going to be honest, I'm not that satisfied with a few of these videos featured, as quite a few of them are improvised quick videos taken from out of the car window without a tripod and taken in spots that don't have good lighting on the train. But regardless, I hope you can still enjoy this video. Welcome to the Cairns Railfan. We begin on the 4th of July with the rain still pouring in Townsville. Here we see Queensland Rail diesel tilt train 5407 if I remember correctly, and with 5401 at the rear leading the northbound Spirit of Queensland passenger service VC71 through Stewart. Next, we have an improvised out-of-car window shot where we see Aurizon 2800 class 2828 leading a singular cement wagon through Anunba. This would be the final train recorded for the day. It's the next morning and the weather is starting to clear as we see Pacific National 83 class 8328 Sir John Parker Cruiser leading raw sugar freight train service 6J75 through Anunba headed for the port of Townsville. Just as I was about to leave this spot, I was surprised by Aurizon 2800 class 2847, most likely headed to the port of Townsville. Now at the northern end of the Stewart Railway Yard, we see Pacific National PN class PN003 leading cement shunt service 8TP2 into the railway yard. Later in the day, I decided to head to a spot at the north of Aurizon Stewart Railway Yard, a different railway yard in Stewart to the one we just saw. However, with no activity there, I headed back to where I was staying, but as I was heading back to the spot after being informed of more trains coming, I suddenly saw Aurizon 4000 classes 4013 and 4039 leading zinc freight train service 9257 through Anunba. Admittedly, I am frustrated at leaving the spot where no activity happened, as this happened shortly after I left there, and the train would have had good lighting on it passing through that spot. But instead, I just had to improvise with another out-of-the-car window shot. I was able to follow the train to the port of Townsville, where I had to stick my phone camera up to the fence to see the train, when I actually could have gotten a much better video up at that footbridge in the top left. Another rather frustrating moment seeing this train, unfortunately. for some context, I was informed of an incoming molasses train to the port of Townsville, and that is why I headed out again. And I thought that zinc train that we just saw was the molasses train. So to make things even more hectic and a bit frustrating, there came the molasses train after I was being driven back from seeing the zinc train. Luckily, I managed to get out of the car in time to record the train passing by. This was service 8Q63, being led by Pacific National 88 Class 8803. And for the final train of the day, before I later had to head home early, we see Aurizon 2800 Class 2847 leading the westbound Inlander passenger service 3M34 through Cludon. This was taken at the spot outside the northern end of the Aurizon Stewart Railway Yard that I said I was frustrated at leaving earlier. The Inlander is a Queensland Rail passenger train being hauled by an Aurizon locomotive. Why? Well, it's because it heads out to Mount Isa on the Mount Isa line, and it's a freight line, all except for the Inlander as seen here. Queensland Rail stopped operating freight a number of years ago and handed it over to companies such as Aurizon, Pacific National, Cube and Watco. So this means because of this, there are no Queensland Rail crews stationed on the Mount Isa line, even though it's an overnight trip from Townsville to Mount Isa by train and requires an overnight crew to run the train all the way to Mount Isa. But since Aurizon operates freight on the line, they have crews available to drive the train, so Queensland Rail, instead of going through the bother of driving out their own crew on the Mount Isa line just for the Inlander, they pay Aurizon to run their train for them due to the crews they already have out on the line. And that's it for the video. Like I mentioned in this and the last video, the trip to Townsville was unfortunately cut short due to rainy weather affecting the sugar mills I plan to visit throughout the week. And with some of the frustrations of the recordings of trains in this video, it's always another excuse to head back out to Townsville for another try when the weather is better, so maybe that will come someday. Before I end the video, I would like to give special thanks to Kyle Gleason. He is a Townsville local, train driver and rail fan who knows much more about Townsville train operations than I do. He assisted me with letting me know when trains were coming, as well as lots of information regarding train service codes and the last section of information about the Inlander. I've linked his channel in the description. He makes excellent videos, so I encourage you to check them out. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.